Hey friends, welcome back to The Daily. This is Adriana. Really great to be back here with you for another day of practice in our theme of the month, which is generosity. And as I mentioned yesterday, we're taking a little bit of time over the course of these 2 days together to really sink into our loving kindness practice. Because as we talk about generosity, loving kindness meditation is really a kind of on the nose, spot on practice of generosity, where we're taking some time in our practice to intentionally conjure up these states of being that for many of us we hold most dear, right? The sense of feeling happiness, the sense of feeling safe, sense of feeling at home and healthy and well in our own bodies, a sense of contentment. And as we conjure up these states and touch in on them, we're then immediately offering them out. We're giving these states away. And the kicker is we're doing it without discrimination. So I love ya. I hope you're happy. I think you're so obnoxious, and I also hope that you're happy. And really kind of equalizing the way in which we give, equalizing our generosity across the board, which of course can be easier said than done. That is why we practice. We may even find that our edge of practice lies somewhere here in loving kindness practice, the places where we find our natural kind of like barriers and biases and boundaries come up, the places where it feels really difficult to give. Maybe we feel kind of like tight and stingy, and we just like don't wanna, which is great information. Really, really great information, because I think, as our meditation practice progresses, as we really start to kind of like sink into being a meditation practitioner, a big part of this is starting to locate where our edge of practice is, where it doesn't feel natural, where it doesn't feel intuitive, and bringing this same sense of curiosity and gentleness to those edges of practice, right? So as I mentioned in yesterday's practice, we're going to play a little bit with the order in which we offer our loving kindness. Yesterday, we placed ourselves at the front of the line when it comes to loving kindness, which is historically how it's taught. We oftentimes give loving kindness to ourselves first before offering it out to others. And in today's practice, I want to mix it up and place us at the back of the line, which for some of us, depending on our preference here, can actually give us a little bit more access to these feelings of loving kindness after we have extended it out to others. So again, as I mentioned at the very top of the month, I have a hunch, I could be completely off on this, but I have a hunch that for many of us, we will have a preferred side when it comes to generosity, right? For some of us, we tend to be on the giving side of generosity. Maybe we find ourselves giving a lot of our time, our attention, our resources, maybe even to the point of compassion fatigue if we don't have really sturdy, clear boundaries in how we're giving and to whom we're giving. And for some of us, we might prefer to be on the receiving end of generosity, particularly when it comes to receiving our own love, our own attention. And neither side of the spectrum, giving and receiving, is better than the other, right? It's really just about starting to notice our own tendencies, our own habits, and again, bringing a sense of curiosity to that. So here we go. We're going to get right down into practice. Wherever you happen to be, taking a moment to decide on your seat. And since we are playing with this exploration of generosity, I really want to encourage you to be as generous with your body as you possibly can. So that might mean laying down on the floor. That might mean finding a posture on your shins, almost straddling your meditation cushion. Maybe we're in a chair today. Maybe we're in a chair. And if we do find ourselves in a chair, couch, just making sure the feet are flat on the ground. So we're establishing this contact with this representation of earth here, letting the earth hold us up, support us. And then once we've found our seat, it's locating our gaze. So eyes open or eyes closed. And we'll take a few moments here as always just to open our practice by opening our senses. And just allowing ourselves to arrive here fully. Shifting the attention over to sound. Receiving the sounds of the space that we're in. And staying open to the sensation of sound. Shifting the attention to touch. So really letting ourselves land in our bodies. Feeling the shape that the body makes. That light pressure where the body makes contact. Taking in the texture of clothing against the skin. Temperature of the air in the room. Keeping our senses open. Dropping into the feet. Just feeling our feet here. Maybe wiggling a toe or two. Tracing the attention across the shin bones. Circling through the kneecaps. Grazing along the thighs. And landing in the hips. Again, feeling the weight of the body against the chair, the cushion. Moving the attention to the belly, the chest. Just allowing ourselves to rest here in the belly, the chest, barrel of the front body. Establishing firm contact with the body, breathing. Just getting a sense of how the breath moves in the body today by its own volition. Continuing to allow the attention to ride the cycle of breath as it moves through the body. We'll take a few moments together just to give the mind a chance to stabilize, the body a chance to settle, by working with that singular instruction that as our minds wander, which they naturally will, we're just noticing when we've left our breathing, acknowledging what captures our attention, and then gently, firmly coming back to the breath in the body. And then if we haven't already, just letting our eyes gently shut. And beginning to shift our practice over to loving kindness contemplation. And taking a moment right off the top just to bring to mind somebody whom for us is easy to love. Someone who's easy to love. Maybe just noticing who springs to mind with the suggestion of that phrase, easy to love. And without overthinking it, whomever occupies this space most readily for us today, in our mind's eye, inviting them to sit down in front of us and watching them take their seat. Noticing any distinguishing quirks, facial features, the way that they hold their body. And once our loved one is seated in front of us, it's taking a few moments to rest in their presence, getting a sense of what it's like to be with the one who's easy to love. Perhaps any fond memories that spring to the forefront. Maybe there's just a particular feeling that's evoked by being with them. Whatever this is for us, this sense, this feeling of being with our loved one, touching in on it and extending it back to them, using these phrases. May you be happy. May you be happy. May you feel safe. May you feel safe. May you feel at home in your body. May you feel at home in your body. And may you live your life with a sense of ease. Continuing to connect with our loved one. It's watching them soak in these wishes. Thanking them for coming. Allowing their image to dissolve. This time bringing to mind somebody in our world whom for us is a bit more neutral. Could be somebody that we've seen once or twice, haven't really developed much of an opinion of. Maybe someone who's a bit of a peripheral acquaintance. We haven't really gotten much of a sense of them. Could be somebody that we passed on the street today, stood in line with at the grocery store. Again, without overthinking it, once we've located somebody whom we find a bit more neutral, in our mind's eye, inviting them to sit down in front of us and watching them take their seat. To the best of our ability, noticing any distinguishing features, the way that they hold their body. And again, touching in on the feeling of being with our loved one. And extending that out, using these phrases. May you be happy. May you be happy. May you feel safe. May you feel safe. May you feel at home in your body. May you feel at home in your body. And may you live your life with a sense of ease. Continuing to connect with our neutral person. It's watching them soak in these wishes. Thanking them for coming. Allowing their image to dissolve. And this time bringing to mind somebody in our world whom we find a bit more difficult. It could be somebody that we're having a particularly hard time with right now. Maybe somebody that we consistently find pretty annoying. Pushes our buttons, gets under our skin, generally rubs us the wrong way. And again, without overthinking it, once we've located somebody that we find a bit more difficult, in our mind's eye, inviting them to sit down in front of us and watching them take their seat. Noticing any distinguishing features, the way that they hold their body. And again, touching in on the feeling of being with our loved one. And extending that to our difficult person, using these phrases. May you be happy. May you be happy. May you feel safe. May you feel safe. May you feel at home in your body. May you feel at home in your body. And may you live your life with a sense of ease. Continuing to connect with our difficult person. Just watching them soak in these wishes. Thanking them for coming. Allowing their image to dissolve. And this time inviting everyone back into the fold with us. The one whom for us is easy to love. Followed by our neutral person, the one we find more difficult. Just inviting everyone to gather around us, take a seat. Perhaps just looking around our circle here, the disparate company that we've collected. And again, touching in on the feeling and extending it out. May we be happy. May we be happy. May we feel safe. May we feel safe. May we feel at home in our bodies. May we feel at home in our bodies. And may we live our lives with a sense of ease. And again, perhaps just taking a moment to look around our circle here and allowing their images to dissolve. And then consolidating these wishes, bringing them back home, really touching in on the feeling of being with our loved one. And extending that out, using these phrases. May I be happy. May I be happy. May I feel safe. May I feel safe. May I feel at home in my body. May I feel at home in my body. And may I live my life with a sense of ease. Taking just a moment here to allow practice to land. Coming back to the sensation of breath in the body. It's feeling the body breathe. And then as you're ready, allowing formal practice to drop. Maybe wiggling the toes, the fingers, rolling out the wrists, stretching the arms. Just bringing a little bit of movement into the body. And as you're ready, coming back in together at your own pace, no rush. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for practice. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your practice with all of us. I hope that you have a wonderful day, whatever that day may hold. I hope that there's some joy in it. And we will see you back here tomorrow.